Hello, my name is Dom, and welcome back to another episode of Firearms History by Angry American Productions. Today we're going to be talking about the M3 Grease Gun and its predecessor, the Thompson submachine gun. As you do know, I do not have any of the firearms to show, and will be using background footage. But if you want to see the gun in question in more detail, go to a channel called Forgotten Weapons. Ian does great work and has a video about the firearm in question today. So with that, let's begin. So, like always, let's talk about the predecessor. The M3's predecessor is a Thompson submachine gun. This firearm was developed by a guy named John T. Thompson, and starting in 1917, this new weapon was dubbed the Annihilator. It was made to be used in the trenches of World War I, but similar to the BAR, Browning automatic rifle, the war to end all wars ended on the 11th of November, 1918. Thus, the new firearms were not used in combat. But after World War I, during the Prohibition era, Thompson became infamous and well liked by criminals and police, and came at a very high price, but we'll get back to that later. So, let's go over some basic facts about the Thompson submachine gun. The M1928A1 weighs a total of 10.8 pounds empty, or 4.5 kilograms for the countries that haven't put a flag on the moon. It's about 33 inches, or 83.82 centimeters long, and shoots the 45 auto-cold pistol round, ACP, and feeds from a 20 or 30 round stick mag, or a 50 and 100 round drum. The Thompson was adopted by the U.S. and put into service in the May of 1939. This is where the cost comes into play. Now, at the time, this gun was expensive. It was about $200 a gun. And if we do some math and add the inflation, that rounds up to almost $3,000. So the Army wanted the gun simplified, of course, and after doing so multiple times, that's why there's so many different model numbers and models. It wasn't enough. And in 1942, instead of simplifying it more than they ever would want, they went looking for a new cheap subgun. That's where the designer named George Hyde comes into play. So George Hyde with a T-15 and a T-20. He submitted those for the Army to test. And a little bit more detail about those. The T-15 had a semi-auto select lever, which was removed to further simplify the gun. That would be the T-20. The Army tested his design and approved it for production and called it the M3 submachine gun. It was a bunch of companies made it, but one of the bigger ones was the General Motors Company. If you look at the M3, you'll see why it's so cheap to make. And if you want to see a takedown of the M3, go ahead to Forgotten Weapons. I'll link Ian's video in the description, and it's just to give it a watch. But for the basics, it's just you unscrew the barrel, the bolt comes out in one captive piece, and you basically just field stripped / disassembled your grease gun. With the basics out of the way, let's talk about who uses it and was given to infantry as well as drivers, tank crew, and any role could fill. The M3 grease gun has been used in, well, just take a look at it. As you can see, these things are used everywhere, or anywhere they could be. These guns are very reliable due to the way they're designed, and were capable, and thus why they were used almost anywhere they could be. Eventually, though, they became obsolete when the AR-15, aka the M16, came into service in the 1960s, and thus eventually removed from service. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with anyone who may be interested. And if you want to see a specific firearm, old or new, comment down below, and I'll get to work on it. And with that, stick around for the next episode of Firearms History.